My name's certainly Black Rasta. This is the Here Band Blend. And it's time now to talk. My guest is already in the house. He's been here for over 1 hour. He's always on time. He's one of the few Africans who would be on time no matter what. And if he's unable to make it, he will give you time right ahead. I am sorry, I will not be able to make it. He wouldn't wait until it's 1 minute to time. So I am not able to make it. His name is Femi Akomolafe. Femi Akomolafe. Those who know him deeper simply call him Alaye. He is my guest. Several times he has honored us with his presence on this show. Oh my God, have mercy. And today we are privileged to have such a think tank, a reservoir of knowledge. Femi Akomolafe, all the way from Nigeria, and he's lived in Ghana for only God knows how long. Femi Akomolafe. He had the opportunity to become citizen of so many different African countries, so many different European countries, and even beyond. But he's still stuck to what he believes in. I will let him tell you that story himself. Today, we are here to talk. Femi, thank you so much for accepting to talk to us. Interesting times ahead. Thank you so much for accepting one more time to talk to us.
Thank you for inviting me.
Now, Femi, tell me something. Who is Femi? Who are you?
My name is Femi Akomolafe, as you rightly said. And I've grown up liking to be knowledgeable about things. I want to know things. I find it difficult to be ignorant on any subject. So I devoted my time to acquiring knowledge. And from what I've learned, I also try to give back. Unfortunately, in our part of the world, when you want to educate people or inform people, they misconstrue it as, oh, Mr. Tuno, you know too much. No. You have been to my library, Black Rasta. I'm not exaggerating. I think I'm well informed. I did my best to educate myself sufficiently. So when we come back to Africa, people are not, honestly, the saddest part is that the most ignorant of us are the loudest people. They have opinions about almost everything under the sun and even beyond. And when you challenge them, they say, oh, he's saying to no. What I try to do is apply logic, apply critical thinking to what you said. Stop disturbing people with your emotions. Stop bringing your emotions onto the table when you are discussing. Be dispassionate. Present facts, not opinions you generated from whichever part of your body you fancy. I'm prepared to debate with you when you present logical things that I can evaluate. But if you come with your stupid opinion, I'm not interested in that. Unfortunately, that's what people do, mostly in Africa.
Femi Akomolafe is his name. And Femi, I'm sure you were also brought up like all of us, Muslim, Christian, and all that. How did you shed off some of these values and then you have become who you are today?
It is funny in Black Rasta. Recently I wrote something which I published on my blog. My father was a traditional chief in our hometown. And as most fathers in those days, they beat you for whatever reason or for no reason at all.
Wow.
And one of those things that he made sure that if you don't go to church, we're Catholics, we were born Catholics. My name, I was given Anthony as my name.
Wow.
Which I don't use anymore anyway. But It happened that my father we got severely beaten for not going to churches on Sunday. And I think I was 15 or 16 when I went. He had the library. I think he was the only person I know him in our family who had the library. And I found a book by Robert Ingersoll, The Complete Work of Robert Ingersoll. I started reading it. I've always been. And honestly, the man blew me away.
Wow.
Robert Ingersoll. He presented, factual things to challenge your brains to think. When you go to church, you are told things to believe. But what Ingersoll did was to challenge to use your brain to think. It's only children who believe. Men should think. So children, they believe fairy tales, they believe whatever, David killed Goliath. Those were nice stories. But what has that got to do with us in Africa?
Wow.
So Ingersoll made me develop critical ability to think critically at a very young age. And that has been my religion since then. Use your brain. I use my brain.
So your brain is your religion?
My mind is my temple. My brain is my... Okay. I should be able to evaluate things. Does it make sense? Does it accord with logic? If I don't know whether David killed Goliath or Samson killed the liar or the liar broke down the temple or whatever. But what has that got to do with me?
This is 3FM.
So how did your father take this? I'm sure at 15, if you came home to tell him that you were not going to the Catholic Church anymore, he certainly was going to be upset.
That is the most, honestly, that is what I find ridiculous about the situation in Africa. I think we are mostly hypocritical. We go to church, does it mean that we believe what we are doing? I think we go because we want to satisfy our neighbors, we want to look good to people. Do we really believe all this nonsense they tell us? I don't think so. Unless you are insane. Either you are insane to believe those things, or you are playing the hypocrite. That's the way I see it. You dress up nicely on Sundays and go and partake in all these pyrotechnics, which this 1 battalion churches are generating these days. And you have to ask yourself, what the pastor told you that made sense to you? It's the same message last week, the same thing they're going to repeat today. And then you go and be clapping. I don't know, do they really believe it, or do they really...
This is 3FM.
Femi Akomolafe is my guest, and we are having a beautiful conversation. Now, we're going to navigate away from your background and go straight into South Africa. Xenophobia. Ghanaians are being chased around in South Africa. Zimbabweans are being chased around. And west of all of us, the Nigerian people, our own brethren, in fact, are being chased around and sometimes even killed in South Africa. And fresh attacks have been reported. What do you make of this?
Black, for people like you and I who have devoted our lives to the cause of Pan-Africanism, is tragic, to say the least. But then, we have to blame ourselves. We're talking about we helped South Africa, we contributed. I was old enough to remember those things. But do you remember that about 3 decades ago, we stopped teaching history in our schools?
That's correct.
So how do we want these people, how do we want Africans to know about their history if we stop teaching it? Who is going to teach them? From where are they going to learn it? That is one part. We lack education in Africa. How many of us in Africa, let's take, for example, Ghana, how many of us know our history? Yeah?
Right.
The absence of education, the absence of information, which is where the media fail, where the education system fail. We're not teaching anything, we're teaching rubbish, graduating idiots, giving certificates to unqualified people. Our university, our education system is like a meal. Graduating idiots who know next to nothing. We give them certificates to go and do what? To go and inflict their ignorance on the society. And then we are blaming, we're blaming people. That is one aspect of it. The second aspect is our hypocrisy, Black Rasta. Let us be frank. Last year, something happened which really distressed me greatly. I saw xenophobic attack in Ghana, the land of Nkrumah.
This is 3FM.
And an Igbo man, an Igbo gentleman was supposed to have done something wrong. And this is 2025, 2026 for crying out loud, Black Rasta. The laws are there to take care of these things. Why should we resort to primitive jungle justice? Because the person is a Black African, he's a Nigerian, he's an Igbo man. Why did we do that? That is not even my issue. Was the silence of the media on this thing. I was so disappointed, really. I've been in this country. I know how much I've contributed to the media in this country. I know how much I've contributed to the society here. Suddenly, every Nigerian become a target. And then the media, they stood back. What did they say? How many of the media houses condemned the xenophobic attack last year? And yesterday I saw them pantomiming nonsense on the in South Africa. This the Paul should stop calling the kettle black. Yeah, we either have principle or we don't have principle. We are either Africans or we're non-Africans. Yeah, you cannot be attacking Nigerians who live in Ghana and then you go on your television roasting and boasting about or playing the hypocrite and condemning what they. And honestly, xenophobia is xenophobia against whoever is. What is so tragic is that we walk in the street of Accra, we see Lebanese walking, selling, trading. Even in Makasua now, you see Lebanese going around, selling their fryer and whatever. Nobody's molesting them.
What
is wrong with us Africans? What is wrong to make us so self-negating, so self-hating? Those are the questions. I respect you a lot, but we know each other for how many years now? We've done so many things together. But I was so disappointed that last year, no media house took up this xenophobic attack. And here we are today. If they have stood up last year, then you have the moral right to condemn what happened recently against the guy. Yeah?
Well, it might be an overestimation to say that no media house was part of this. We actively were part of it. And if we open the phone lines today, in fact, you hear Nigerians call you and all over the internet. In fact, they made it clear. Oh, Black Rasta has been talking about, even Nigerian media houses, talked about this very, very clear. But walk me through what kind of attacks we had in Ghana against Nigerians. What was it like?
Please ask your producers to check online how many videos were made, TikTok videos were made against Nigerians. Let me tell you a story, Rap Black. I am a personal victim of xenophobic attack. One Kweku Anan, I will send you the video later. Threaten me. I will send you the video. The case is with the police. The Ghana police has been sitting on this case since January. Do you understand? This guy went on radio threatening me as a Nigerian. I've never met. I don't know him from nowhere. I don't know him. I don't know anything about him.
Right.
He really threatened. I will smoke you. Or using physical languages against me. I sent the case to the police. I've been shuffled around since January. In the meantime, a presidential candidate, Ayariga, said somebody threatened him. Destiny Oman. He was picked up. He has made 5 appearances in the court.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm aware
so
of this.
why should a presidential candidate in Ghana be making such a uncouth statement against fellow Africans? Honestly, why do we even begin to analyze this in Black Rasta? Ghana is the gateway of West Africa. That's what they're claiming to be. Ghana is the headquarters of the African trade and continental trade, something which they fought to get. And then when Africans come here, then you are molesting them, even up to a president candidate level. Of course, some of you did the right thing by condemning those things. But put it together with those who are making stupid videos on TikTok. Ask your producer to to gather them for you.
Yes, I mean, people would always dislike people. This might be some isolated cases where one or two people, get attacked here and there and all that. And in fact, when you go to Europe, you see people do that. You go to America. But on a large scale, like what we are seeing in South Africa, do you think that the Ghanaian situation would one day grow into that? I mean, you've been in Ghana for a very long time. Do you think that this has the tendency of growing into the South African large-scale kind of xenophobia?
As a student of history, Black Rasta, whenever some issues are not well taken care of, we don't know how, to what extent they will grow. So the best thing is to educate people that this is just wrong. What is wrong is wrong. We are in the 2026. There should be biometric system setup to collect. Almost everything we do now, we're on a biometric. Why can't this West Africa? Let's start with ECOWAS. Why can't we link all these things together? That our immigration, our police are integrated. They can smoke out illegal immigrants or criminals. They can. These are possible technologically. So why are we not doing it instead of looking for excuses? We should be looking for positive things. What can integrate our economies? Why do we find it problematic only when we see our fellow Africans struggling? The people controlling our financial sectors are not Africans. Yeah? Why are we not troubled with that? We have problem with our brothers who are selling the same Chinese-made Booga Booga we are selling here.
This is 3FM.
I'm going to ask you this. How did we descend into this? Because Nigerians specifically have always been loved in this country. We have Ghanaians who want to speak like Nigerians, Ghanaians who are picking up Nigerian names because of Nollywood and even beyond. Why is it that all of a sudden, within just, some 2 years back, 3 years back, we are having these glimpses of xenophobic attacks?
It goes back to what I said. Once it started rising its ugly head, it should have been nipped in the bud. Once you allow those things, they easily escalate. You've been to Nigeria. Honestly, I'm not trying to defend Nigeria, but in Nigeria, nobody cares where you come from. As long as you can do your job. We have a same language. The sky is the sky is big enough for every bird to fly without touching wings. We all came from somewhere. Do you know where we are going to be tomorrow? Nobody knows.
This is 3FM.
So you talk about inferiority complex. If you are a talented musician, you have any society you find yourself, you can cope. You can make your living. But if you haven't gotten that education, you haven't gotten that any talent you can, and you become jealous of those who are making it. That's my analysis of this situation. If you find yourself in Europe or Nigeria or wherever, you can make it because you have got the skills to make it. Yeah? The same thing I have here. There's no way and there's no society that cannot stay and make it. Because I trained myself, I educated myself to function. But the xenophobic, the Ghanaians who are doing well, would they have time to be xenophobic? But the idiots who have nothing to do, they go around accusing people of taking their job. Which job are they taking? The people in South Africa are creating their own jobs. They are not employed by anybody. The same thing with the Nigerians here. Who is are the government of Ghana giving them education or employment? No, they are creating their own jobs. That's what happened also in Europe. Mostly we go there to create our own jobs, right? We are not looking for no.
Interesting. Yeah. Interesting. Now, I'm happy to say that the president of Ghana and also the Minister of Foreign Affairs condemned these xenophobic utterances online and all that when they came up. It was all because of the Igbo man's issue.
Yeah.
As
that's appreciated. Yeah.
Yes, and I am happy that it's gone down. We have some Ghanaians who still think that no, Nigerians must go home. Nigerians are criminals. Nigerians are thieves and all that. And as you said, point blank, we have laws that can deal with thieves. We have laws that deal with people who do bad things. We don't have to take the laws into our hands and start chasing people like it's done in South Africa. But you have looked at the issue of history. Do you think that's the only reason we have xenophobia in South Africa?
I think so. These colonial constructions we call countries in Africa, what sense do they make to you? Do they make economy, political, whatever? What sense does... I mean, take for example Nigeria. I am a Yoruba. If I step across to Benin Republic, they speak my language. There I'm a foreigner. Up to Togo, they speak Yoruba. So I have more in common with those put in Benin Republic by colonialists, and then the Togoland. I have more in common with them culturally, linguistically, than those who are called my fellow countrymen, Igbos, and not only that, black. The Ga and the Ewe people are closer to the Yorubas than with any other part of Nigeria.
That's correct.
So when I go to, say, Volta region, for example, sometimes I think that I'm imagining things because when they speak, I see a lot of similarity between our words.
Right.
Linguistically, we're close.
Correct.
I mean, so what is this idea of you are in Nigeria, so I mean, why do we even start to... That's why I said the lack of education is crippled us, really. And so unfortunately, we're not doing anything to address it. We grow up educating ourselves on unnecessary things, but the core things, we are uneducated.
We are uneducated. So the best way to handle this is education?
Education. I mean, history has to start even from the primary school. We have to know ourselves, to appreciate ourselves as Africans. If you don't know yourself, can you... We get so defensive, especially when we relate to Europeans, because we didn't teach ourselves our history. That's when you see an African, you mentioned it sometimes, and this lack of self-esteem, low self-esteem.
Right.
Where did it come from? From lack of education, from lack of not knowing yourself, who you are. I think, I mean, I say it everywhere. I mean, put me across with any European or any American or whatever. I mean, that's on what basis will he feel superior to me? I can't imagine it.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. Now, I'm going to go to the nitty-gritties.
Yes.
What does it mean to you,
Yeah.
Femi, to say xenophobia? What is it?
I classify as, if you look at my ratings, I always sign off as I'm unconditionally opposed to tribalism, racism, and fascism. Why I can understand people hating individuals. If you wrong me, naturally I will have something against you. But how do people generate the idea, I'm going to hate a lot of a class of people? Thinking about it, just even, it's so insane to me. Is that the idea of fascism? I mean, hating a group of people. I mean, it's not something I can comprehend. So to those who do it, you really have to ask them. I can understand the individual skirmishes and hatred, but exposing to a group of people, that's not something I can comprehend.
Still talking about hatred.
Yeah.
In Ghana, we are talking about LGBTQI+. Men sleeping with men, women sleeping with women, and so on and so forth. I mean, I've had conversations, and the group tells me that it's beyond just man sleeping with man, woman sleeping with man. They can even decide to live together and just love each other without sleeping with each other. It's all part of the LGBTQI+ thing. Now, tell me, what is your view? Do you think that is something that should be tolerated in our society?
Honestly, what people do, what adults do sexually is not part of my problem. But the laws of the country, of every society we find ourselves, must be respected. What will happen if everybody does what they like without respecting the laws? Anarchy. We don't want anarchy. society, I'm also a very cultural person. I don't believe that society belongs to me. I belong to a society. So I don't impose my views or my way of life on society. I mean, I just don't understand the logic of thinking that I am above a society. No. Society encompasses a lot of people. So what the culture of that society must be respected. Unless it is changed. Yeah?
I don't think that the problem is about what people do in their bedrooms. Because, of course, in your bedroom, who comes there to see what you do?
Yeah.
But it gets out of the bedroom,
Yeah.
and people are on the street, man to man, kissing each other.
In Ghana?
Woman to woman, kissing each other.
In Ghana?
That is the fear.
Yeah.
That if this thing is allowed and not stopped,
What does the law say?
it might just come out like that.
What does the law say?
The law says that it is against it.
So they should, I go back to what I said. Lawbreakers should be sanctioned. In Europe, nobody asks you not to disobey the law, but the penalties you pay will dissuade you. So we have laws. Why are they not enforcing them? I'm stricter for discipline. You know that. So the laws should be, the sanction should be so much that people will stop doing nonsense.
If you were the president of Ghana, would you accept this law that is in the Parliament House right now being handled against the LGBTQI plus thing?
If I'm the president of Ghana, and as long as the Parliament passes the law, I will sign it.
You sign it?
Yeah, if the Parliament passes it. They represent the people, don't they? Yeah. So they are the closest people to the people, the parliamentarians. And once in their collective judgment they believe that this is good for the society, who am I to go against it?
If your son or daughter came home to tell you that they were gay, what would be your first point of action?
I don't think I will have any point of action, but I would doubt their sanity if they tell me that they're gonna. I mean, why should you be going a woman be following a woman or whatever like that?
You would think that they were crazy.
I think they've gone somewhere. I don't think a child of mine will go and do that. I don't have such a. I don't have such a idea with my children. No.
This
No,
is
honestly,
3FM.
I don't know what. No, I don't think they will come to me and tell me that.
They won't come at all.
No, I don't think they will come to tell me that they don't tell of us.
So, in your opinion, LGBTQI plus is some sort of madness?
I don't know if it's madness, but it's what's it called? It's not something. At least in our society, yeah, it's an aberrant. I'm not a psychiatrist, so I don't know if, what's wrong with it. But it's an aberrant thing, something to do in our society. So,
would you eat with a gay person? Would you do business with a gay person? Would you be friends with a gay person?
I don't think that will affect me as long as it doesn't pose it doesn't. Why should you? Why am I discussing sex with you? No. If I come here to do business, why should you be telling me? I'm not interested in your sexuality. Just it's not something I discuss with people.
Finally.
Yep.
I would like to ask you this. Let's go back to xenophobia. You have talked about history, that we can tell our own history so that people at least would get to know their background, their origins and all that, and that will help with xenophobia. Do you believe that that will stop people from hating and disliking each other?
Education will not will allow you to know, have more perspectives about life. If the Ewes and the Gas in Ghana are taught their histories, will a Ghana person who share affinities with the Yoruba, will they become xenophobic to Nigeria?
No.
It's lack of education. Most of the problem we have in Africa is due to lack of education. If we, honestly, also the low esteem, if we know from where we came, our original history, Africa will not be, will not be subjugating themselves to other people.
This is 3FM.
Yeah? It is this lack of education. Our history started from Mungo Park and blah, blah, blah. Those were the type of nonsense we were taught. But if we go beyond pre-colonial Africa, we see the beautiful empires, we see the beautiful crafts our parents built. If we can, as Sheikh Anta Diop suggested, we link our history to ancient Egypt. Do you think we will be feeling inferior to other people?
No way.
No, I mean the three religions, Islam, Judaism, and Christianity. Those are the religions created by our ancestors in Egypt. The 10 Commandments came from the 42 Conventions of Math. So the sciences, these things they're using to oppress us these days, were created by our ancestors in Egypt. How many of us know these things? And why are we not promulgating it or making it available to our people? Instead of spending our time jiving and dancing, why are we not teaching our people serious history?
Let me take you to Nigeria.
Yes.
Tinubu is the president.
Yes,
How is he doing in your opinion?
I've written about 10 articles criticizing his foreign policies. I think he has, in the foreign policy sphere, I think he has sold out to Africa. I've never seen Nigeria be so operating as such anti-African foreign policy. I've visited Nigeria and I see some of this. So I cannot, I try to distinguish between his foreign and internal affairs. He seems to be building a lot of infrastructure. And from what I read about Korea, South Korea, and one of my economists I go to is Professor Ajung of his book. And what he said was, and the situation in the 70s when Korea was starting, they massively borrowed, but then they concentrated on heavy industries and infrastructure. I know about the corruption in Nigeria, but I also want to give Tinubu a benefit of the doubt that a modern country cannot operate on 1970s infrastructures, which is what Nigeria is using. The Muntala Airport was built in the 1970s. Most of the highways are built in the 1970s. So 2026, we cannot be using 1970s infrastructure to support them. So if it's constant, I don't know how far or how successful it will be. I'm just saying that from what I read about economic development history, Nigeria needs to fix those infrastructures. And how do they do that? They can only borrow money. Yeah?
Interesting.
But the foreign policy, I think I even wrote before the foreign minister said he resigned. I wrote an article calling for his dismissal, because under Tinubu we lost 3 countries in ECOWAS, right?
Wow.
Yeah, Mali, Niger, and Burkina Faso, they went away. So I mean, his foreign policies has been so pro-French, pro-imperialist. Really, it's a disaster.
What do you think about Boko Haram in Nigeria?
In terms of
its operation and its existence?
That's a difficult question to ask. How do these people, not only that, there have been allegations. I mean, who's sponsoring Boko Haram? They call them illiterate Almajiris. How do they get trained with sophisticated weapons? Crucially, how do they get the intelligence? Yeah, people can be trained to shoot, but the crucial intelligence to need to attack, the type of sophisticated attacks they're taking. I mean, there must be some forces, external forces guiding those things. Those things don't appear in vacuum. From what we are reading about now, the former ISIS is the president of Syria. They were trained by the CIA. Yeah? As long when you want to gather some food, your brother got to be your enemy. That's Bob Marley. Yeah? So we have to try to not only blame ourselves, we're not, the imperials are not sleeping.
Let me take you to America. Trump.
Mm-hmm.
Iran-Israel-American war.
Yep.
What's your opinion?
Well, I think they got themselves they bit off more than they can chew. I mean the Americans. There is a saying in my language that I've jumped this, I can jump that. That's how the kitten enters the well.
Oh, wow.
So, I mean, there was an American official who, a few years ago, that they need to show their strength by taking some poor country and smashing them. I mean, they've been doing it. They did it to Libya, they did it to Iraq, they did it to... But they didn't, I think they miscalculated that Iran is a 3,000-year-old civilization, continuous civilization. And these people have been fighting empires for so many years, so they have adapted to surviving. So, and these are people, I mean, the general they killed, Soleimani, it took his time to study the Americans, what they did in Iraq. How can we stop them in Iran? Technologically, they cannot compete with America. So they cannot build the big bombers or the big carriers or whatever. They concentrated on their missiles and their drones, which has proven to be more efficient than American high-tech equipment. You have the American carrier group. They're afraid to come close to the Iranian coast because the missiles are cheaper. And the drones are also, they are even cheaper than the missiles. So you have a very unbalanced equation. Because arithmetically, there's no way the Americans can win. Because it takes a lot of money to fly jet and drop all those heavy bombs. And the Iranians are using $20,000 drones and missiles and 50,000 missiles. I mean, so the arithmetic doesn't, I think that's why they have the so-called ceasefire. I don't think the Iranians are not, the Americans they're not having it easy. Another thing which we have to understand is, if America is winning, they don't call for negotiation. They smash you. That they are calling for negotiation, or they're even sitting down to negotiate, means that they're not capable of doing what they set out to do. Strategically, they have not met any of the objectives they set for themselves. Regime change, the Iranians are still standing. And now they're talking about Rishi Remo. And I think the gravest mistake they made was killing the elderly man, the Ayatollah Khamenei.
Yes.
He was the moderate figure there who gave a fatwa against the production of
nuclear weapons. Right.
I mean,
this is 3FM.
I mean, if you remember the Iraq-Iran war, Iranians were bombed with chemical weapons.
Yes.
They didn't resort to chemical weapons because they consider it a ram in Islam. They say it's against the principles of Islam to mass kill people. And now, foolishly, they killed this elderly man. Instead, they got his son, who was a commander during the war, RGC, who is more radical. And these are people who are not willing to compromise. The people they killed were moderates, they were diplomats, they were elderly people who were willing to make compromises. Now you replace them with people who are
radical,
who were brought up in the war, who were commanders during the war. They don't have anything to lose. These are, you also know about the Shia. These are fearless people. I mean, it's considered martyrdom to be killed in battle. That's why you see them walking on the street without bodyguards or whatever. You saw the foreign minister recently eating in a restaurant. He was just like another people. How many of us in Africa can do that?
This
they have the confidence
is 3FM.
of the people. Unfortunately, those of us in Africa, we seem to have lost that sense of national sovereignty. It's not important to us anymore. That's why we find many Africans, or some Africans here, sharing the imperialist. What they did to Iran, they can do it to your country tomorrow. Who is to stop them?
I'm going to ask the final question and we'll be done. And this is the very final one. And I hate to ask what I'm about to ask.
Go ahead.
But I still would ask. Many people think Nigerians are trouble making people. You go to South Africa, they are targeted. You go to Europe, they are targeted. In America, they are targeted. You know, anywhere you hear about attacks against a group of people, Nigerians will be at the forefront. Is this true? And what is the problem?
I would not know what the problem is, but that's the perception. But then you have to look at the figures. How many Nigerians are in Ghana? How many of them are doing targeted? How many of them are doing bullshit or illegal activities? Until recently, we don't hear all those things. How many? Since when did it start? And I always look at the media. They look for the what's it called, the worst case scenarios. Bloating. Is it only in Nigeria? You are in Europe. How many positive stories do you read about Africa and Europe? And in even in Europe, when a black person of Nigerian origin do something positive, what did they say? It becomes a British, or they mask the nationality. But if an African does something wrong, the nationality comes to play. Have you tried to Google up how many faculties in the United States have Nigerians as professors? No, those are simple exercises people can do. So we only about Nigerian 419 doing this and that. Check the universities in America. Check the universities in Europe. See how many Nigerians are in there. Look at the health sector in UK, for example. How many Nigerians are contributed there?
Do you think that there's a reason some Nigerians are, denouncing their Nigerian backgrounds and picking up nationalities of other countries? Like they would fake it and say, oh, maybe I'm Ghanaian or maybe I'm Sierra Leonean. Have you come across, such things?
If you want to go there, Black Rasta, I will tell you a story. In the 1970s, when Nigeria was good, many Ghanaians used Nigerian passports.
I like that.
Yep. No, they can come and say it loudly. In the 70s, Nigeria was good. Nigeria was great. Many Ghanaians migrated to Nigeria, especially in Lagos, as teachers. How many of them travel with Nigerian documents? Why not? Why didn't we make fuss about it?
So you are now answering my question, Femi.
Yes.
So the answer is that when the nation starts to get great,
Yep.
people would move out of their uncomfortable zones.
That is human nature. Yeah. To survive.
So you agree that at this point Nigeria is not great?
Honestly, when I talk to Nigerians, it's sad what is happening in Nigeria today. This was not the Nigeria we grew up in. Honestly, no. We will be honest about that. The current Nigeria is like a nightmare for those of us who grew up in the 60s and 70s, even up to 1980s. No, I mean, we had everything in Nigeria then, honestly. We had things in Nigeria. I mean, that's why we had Ghanaians, many Ghanaians flocked there in those days. I mean, because the economy was booming, the construction was booming. All over, they were building things in Nigeria in the 80s. I think one of our presidents said, General Gowon, that money was not our problem, but how to spend it. Can you wrap your head around that?
Interesting.
Money was not our problem, but how to spend it.
That's it.
Yeah. But today, look at Nigeria.
I agree with you, Femi. I mean, Africa would get better. I want to thank you so much for coming.
Africa will not get better unless Africans get serious. Yes? And we have to educate ourselves black. Thank you for the fantastic job you are doing too.
Yes, if there's any other thing you want to add, please go ahead and do that.
Yeah. Please, wherever you are, Africans, I will keep urging that we get as much education as we can get, especially on African history. Yeah? I'm willing to share ideas with people. You can contact Black Rasta. And we should stop looking at ourselves with hatred and with xenophobic. I mean, we are greater than they. We can be greater than what we are portraying to the outside world. As soon as you step out of Africa, nobody recognizes your passport or whatever. They see a black person, and not mostly in a positive way. So please stop hiding that I'm a Ghanaian or I'm a Nigerian or I'm a this and that. As long outside of Africa, nobody. I mean, you're just black. Sorry to use this term, black. You are just a nigger. Yeah.
This is
Thank you very much,
3FM.
Black Rasta, for the time.
I appreciate you, Femi. If you want to share your phone number as well for people to contact you so you can have some debates and some sharing of ideas, you are free to do that.
Okay, I'll give you my email address.
All right.
Then you can put it on the link. Thank you very much.
Okay. All right. So mention the email address.
It's AKOGUN.
Akogun. AKOGUN.
At yahoo.com.
At yahoo.com.
Yes, please.
We are the Yahoo boys. Yahoo.
Yeah. No. We're too old for that.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you.
Yeah.